Hi there, this is Jo Zuleika, founder of the Facebook group Women Who Lead with Heart, coming on for my weekly live, and this is a juicy one. The topic tonight is for the sensitive leader. Now, if you're tuning in on YouTube, you might want to join my group where I'm going to share some resources. For those of you that are in my group, give me an emoji, say hi, let me know that you're here, or give me a hashtag replay so I can just know who's connected. I'm really excited to share this lesson because I posted about this week and it brought so much response. It's clear to me that this is a raw nerve for so many women in leadership, for so many women high achievers who are out there making good, doing big work, being seen, but sometimes feeling really vulnerable and exposed for the emotionalism that is only natural to have. So what I want to share with you right up front is if you have been told, gosh, you're so sensitive, or you feel like you should be less sensitive, or somehow it's been criticized that you shouldn't be as feeling as you are, I just want to say the entire arc of my talk is that you are not going to change the beautiful sensitivity that you have. I like to think that a sensitive leader is a leader who has access to her superpower. She might just need to rein in and find some techniques to become more effective. But I do not believe that somebody who feels deeply cannot also lead so effectively, so inspirationally, so with such sense of loyalty and follow me leadership, because a sensitive leader is somebody whose heart is available. The people who know and trust and work with a sensitive leader feel safe, they feel heard, they feel seen, they feel understood, and it makes it okay for them to have emotions too. So I am not promoting a feeling-free workplace. I am not saying that the whole goal is for you to rein it in and be less sensitive. I just want to give you some techniques for how you can handle the high emotionalism that can be present when you are out front and you're a leader. Okay, so this is a perfect topic for me because this last week absolutely sucked. And I am in touch with my own sensitivity. If you are in a position where you feel at whatever level, whether you're the big boss or you're in, an entry-level position, there is an opportunity for it to be a minefield for us that have a big heart. If you feel criticized, fairly or unfairly, if you feel blame, if you feel drama in the workplace, like gossip or political, moves that are made to gain favor, where there's suspicion and lack of trust or a sense of victimhood or persecution. If you experience conflict at work and you're sensitive, you will be triggered. And that is okay. It is not a signal that you feel too much or that you need to feel less. What it is a signal for is that you need to slow it down and actually process what is happening for you. Don't just gloss over it. Don't just suffer the incoming, the onslaught, the emotional and almost physical, energetic and adrenal response of having conflict or having struggle or drama or feeling something intensely. Don't just gloss over it. You want to process it. That's our goal. So what I was sharing earlier in other posts, and maybe you've read it, and that I teach in my group, is often the trigger funnels down into one of three things. I'm going to name them. Either you're triggered because you feel ignored or insignificant, unseen, like you don't matter. And this is all about inclusion. That no one checked in with you, or things happened without your knowing, or somebody stepped on your boundary, or somebody took over a project that you were working on, or no one, checked in with you about something that's clearly your area or your strength zone. That will be a trigger. And that's all about significance. The second one, or another one, a different one, is competence. This is if you feel criticized for not doing something good enough, or that your inabilities are exposed, or if you don't know something, you feel incompetent or humiliated for not being smart enough. This is about control. And often when this is triggered, we try to scramble and scurry and pull ourselves together. We overwork, we overcompensate, and it's all about worthiness. This is a big one for women in leadership, a big one for women in a man's world, a big one for women who are trying to prove themselves as good enough. And then the other one, the third of the three, is about being liked. You can be triggered if you feel disliked, rejected, that you didn't get invited to a really important party or a social event, that you feel on the outside of the in-group. This can be where gossip can trigger you, or you feel criticized personally. And this is really about affection and wanting to feel belonging. So I like to pause and say, of those three, we need all of them to feel whole and feel safe and feel comfortable in our lives, but we tend to have one that is our biggest priority, to feel significant, competent, or liked. So I want to take a moment to have you kind of just do an inventory. Which one's yours? What resonates most for you is like, oh, that's totally me. If you feel like it, you can post it. Okay, so what do you do? So you have this triggering event, you think, oh, that's my significance that's getting triggered, or oh, I just feel like they're totally questioning my competence. I understand that's my trigger, right? You need to process that feeling. This is the goal. You want to fully metabolize whatever is here for you so that you can think clearly, that you're not kind of caught up in a storm of emotion that is triggering you, and it's almost like you're running off on a runaway horse. You want to get back into a calm gallop. And so you do this actually physically by like taking control of your physical environment. Often these experiences will trigger sort of like an icky feeling inside, a physical feeling. And so I have a lot of things that I'll post below after this talk about, deep breathing, or taking a minute to pause or to journal about what's happening. Going outside is always great to kind of mix up the energy, stir things up. Or to do some affirmations like, okay, I know this happens to me. I know that I feel triggered and criticized. I know I'm not good enough at this job. I know I'm worthy. I know what I know. I am good. Things like this can help you sort of regain some composure. So depending on what you're experiencing, that's just step one. We would want to go deeper to really look at what's the belief behind this impassioned response that's got you hooked and sort of like flopping on the hook of it, like if you're a fish that's flopping around and feeling like you can't get this out of your lip. We need to like work that hook out so that you are free. The goal is not to feel less. It's not to change who you are. The goal is for you to process completely the emotional response that you're experiencing. And you know why you want to do this, right? Because when you don't process completely, you waste so much time and energy. You stay in the drama. You replay some event over and over in your head, or maybe think of what you wished you would have said, or you have vengeful thoughts, or you're mad at yourself and you beat yourself up. That's just obsessing that isn't helpful at all. It's all in the past and it has nothing to do with really who you are or even the drama that you're in. You might be guilty of debriefing with the wrong person. This is the experience of coming home and really venting to your partner, and your partner sort of internally having that eye roll of like, oh my gosh, here we are again. This is happening again. And that's just sort of like, it's lovely to have a supportive person, but it's also a boundary infringement on your relationship if you only are ever debriefing how stressful work is. And then the worst of all is sort of like the cortisol surge that it gives you. That's like the hormone, the stress hormone that happens when you feel this stress. It makes you put on weight. It makes you feel crappy. And it also affects your sleep. So if you're somebody who, doesn't sleep well when there's been a real offense, an emotional offense at work, and you sort of roll over and you're really sleepless and not resting, you're restless, you will keep thinking about it even at night. I see somebody in the group also recommending EFT, which is called Emotional Freedom Technique. And that is a huge different modality that I actually take some of my clients into. But if you want to Google it, it's a very effective way to try to regain your composure and also shift the beliefs that are underneath what's really tormenting you. Okay, so we're going to bring us on home. The goal is not, this is your metaphor tonight. It is not to wish for calm seas. Anybody see the movie Moana? Love the movie Moana. It is not to wish for there to be no wind and flat water. You are a feeler. You are a woman of action and passion. You don't get anywhere when there's no wind and no current. You want that in your life. So you don't want things to be blah and boring. And if you're in a storm, you can't just roll up your sails and drift. Your boat will submerge. It will tip over. The goal is for you to learn how to sail. It's learning how to be in the strong seas with a high wind, with the big waves, with the rudder down and you holding the sail, and being effective and confident and clear about the direction you're going. Knowing that you are strong enough and good enough to handle the buffeting wind, the criticism or the drama or the terrible emotional storm that you're feeling. You just need to learn the techniques and practice the techniques to help you process better. Is that resonating for you? It's possible. It's totally possible. If you're thinking, oh, that sounds like would be nice. You are looking at a woman who was not in the place she is today without doing this work. So it takes effort. It is a process, but you can become a strong feeling leader, not a super sensitive, squishy, prone to overwhelm, self-doubt, and imposter syndrome leader. You can. That's my work. So what you're seeking for is an internal calm and an internal capable sense of leadership with deep self-awareness and an ability to self-manage, then you are in the right place. My leadership program is teaching all of this in a small group format and with one-on-one coaching so that you can be incredibly self-managed and self-aware, so that you can learn amazing people skills, so that you're less stressed and less overwhelmed and more confident at work, so that you can feel ease and joy, and so that you can have the impact that you crave, so that you can get to that spot in your world where you are able to live a bigger life on a bigger stage with more energy, with more impact, because you were not curled up and having difficulty processing. So, how does that sound? If that sounds good to you, there's so much more for you here. What we're having is just a one-way chat. So what I always offer is for you to use the booking link that I'm going to post in the comments below to book a free call with me, to reach out and see if coaching with me, if my Leadership Confident Leader program is something that would be suitable for you. If you're tired of dealing with this drama, you know it's taking a toll on your health, on your relationships, on your ability to work in a manner that is somewhat fulfilling. You know, so many of us stay in really bad circumstances and bad jobs way longer than we should because we don't know how to either stand up for ourselves and decide to leave, or to make changes within and outside of ourselves so that we have a more effective workplace. So if you're ready for action, if you're ready to make a change, if you're curious about what working with me feels like, then reach out. That's what I'm here for. And that's what I've got for you tonight, the sensitive leader. You have a place here and you have a place in the world. So keep feeling and have a good night.